Welcome back, guys. So I left you off in the last drawer video where we built the big main left hand fridge unit. Today we're going to start here. This is the right hand unit bottom drawer, because there'll be 1, 2. So let's get to building this one. Pick these corner clamps up from AliExpress. I've had quite the addiction to it lately. They're just spring loaded, pull it back, and you can adjust that triangle left and right, so you can have 2 different thicknesses, and it just clips on and holds your corners in place. It's a great investment. So this is the bottom drawer we're looking at. We've got the main cabinet that goes all the way around it, with no bottom on it, and then the drawer inside, so obviously the drawer will pull out. Now I've included this little strip here, which is 60mm deep. Now what this is for is my switch panel. Now if you've watched my other video of my old drawers, you'll know I have on the right hand side I have a switch panel for all the lights and the battery and that. So that is going to go in here. I'm going to modify it, cut out a slot and make a custom switch panel that goes in there with all the switches for everything we need, the power outlets and the water outlet, well, that will come out. And it also gives room here for the wiring to go underneath to the back of the drawers. So I'm not going to put a bottom on this drawer to save weight. And then on the top of the drawer here, there'll obviously be another unit. So I'm going to route out the majority of this piece just to save weight, as it's not needed. I've got the outer cabinets built. So left hand one that we built in episode 1, and these 2 that we built in this episode. Now I had a mishap. I built them all wrong. These ones basically, instead of putting the wood on the side there, I put them underneath, built the units, and they were all the wrong size, so I had to take it all apart, put it back together. Same with the drawers, you can see there where the screw hole is, and I've had it screwed in wrong. But I've taken it apart and screwed it back together right. I've got to cut 2 new side pieces for the bottom drawer, because I cut them at the beginning, bolted it together wrong, so now we've got to cut some more for that. But that's going to be the concept, how it will work. Now I am at a bit of a standstill at the minute, so the next clip you'll see will be after I've cut everything, because this episode is going to be like a minute long else. Now obviously once it's in the car, I'm going to keep the units obviously separate, but when they go in the car, the actual unit outers will be screwed somewhat together. So I'm going to bolt them together like that to shut that gap. And same thing there, that will be bolted to that, but I still need to cut the bolts down. The bolts are in there, still haven't cut off. So that's one of my next jobs, is to unscrew them, cut them down to about 12-13mm long. Put them back in on this inside one. This outside one I'll probably leave, because it's not going to be in the way of anything. The only one that matters is these ones, and also the ones that bolt into these side drawers here, because they'll interfere with this, and this needs to be snug fit. And then the other thing to do is in the bottom of this base unit and the top of this unit, I'm going to route a big hole out the middle for weight reduction, and I think the same thing with the back. I'm going to take some material off the back of this, because I don't think there's going to be anything mounted to the back of this one. Obviously there's going to be stuff missing from this one as well, I'm going to take a little bit of material out where the fridge is going to sit, just underneath that, and a little bit under where the stove is going to sit. And I'm going to take a bit out the side here because there's a access point for the side of the boot as well. And again, I'll probably take some out the side of this unit just to try and get as much weight out of it as I can, because this unit is kind of heavy as it is. So I need to get as much weight out of it as I can. So I'm going to route some bits out. The only thing I'm not going to route is the top, because I should be able to still put things on top when I need to. So everything else that I can route, so there in the side there, I will remove most of this piece. I'll probably leave maybe 80mm like that around all the pieces just for the strength, but we don't need it to be solid. It can be hollow in there. It's going to save a lot of weight. These are the drawer runners I'm using on all my drawers. They are the heavy duty drawer runner from Euro Fit Direct, which do like quite a few things for van builds. They are 800mm from end to end, and then they open another 800mm to make 1600mm open total. Now I bought 4 sets of these, so a set you get 2, and it cost £121 for enough to do 4 drawers. Now these will take 80 kilos fully extended, so they're way more than I need, but I wanted to go over as my last drawer runners didn't last very long and they weren't very strong. So head to Eurofit Direct if you need good drawer runners, because they do drawer runners up to 250 kilos, which for drawers is crazy, and they do some really big ones as well. I will link these in the description of the video. So I'll run you through how I'm going to fit the drawer slides. So start off by opening the drawer slide all the way out, which will reveal this little tab here. You push that, and the front bit, that's the bit that attaches to the drawer, which is the bit we need. So you can put the other bit to the side. Now, the way I do it is as follows. I line up front of this with the front of my drawer. Now remember, the main body of the drawer runner is thicker than this. So what we're going to do is get a square, and we're going to put it to a good measurement that works. So I'm going to go with 40mm. So I'm going to push that up there to 40mm, push that up there, long. And what that does is it will push the rest of the hinge 40mm. So now we know that that is going to be 40mm up, and we're going to have about a 20mm gap between that and the bottom of the big hinge. Now, if you go and put screws straight in that, you'll end up going on the wonk, and the runner will move. So I take a centre punch, and this is an automatic centre punch, so you push down on it and it will make a hole. Right, so I'm going to find the centre by eye. Centre punch. What that does is it leaves a tiny little divot. Do you know what you can just see there? There's a little hole. In that hole, you're going to put a little screw. Doesn't matter what size, really, because I'm going to take it back out. So that holds that in place. And then we'll go up to this end again. Check. I've got 40mm. Which is there. Same thing. Center punch. And now I'll screw and the driver. Put the screw in. So put your screw in. Whoa. Now, as I said, these are only temporary, so they are going to come back out. They are literally just to hold the rail in place. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to mark this hole, this hole, this hole, and this hole. I'm going to center punch them, and I'll come back to you. So now we've got all our holes marked. I'm going to come in with a small pilot drill as straight as you can. And drill all the way through to each hole. Doesn't matter what size drill bit, just any size drill bit. Then we can unscrew this bar. Take out the screws and put the bar to one side. So what we're going to use is these nutserts. They're like an outer threaded cert with an M6 thread on the inside. So what you're going to do is find a drill bit that is the same size as the inner, and then put that in your drill and drill out the holes that we've just drilled. And then once you've done that, these nutserts have an Allen key drive in the top. So we'll come to the Allen key drawer. And I use one of these T-handles. This is a bit more comfortable. Because these top bits have a wider head than body, what I normally like to do is use a countersink. Give that hole a slight countersink, and it will allow the bit to sit flush down in when you thread it in. So to get it started, try and keep it as straight as possible when you're threading it in. And because of that countersink, it should sit flush and slightly below the surface, and do the same for all the holes. So once you've got all of them done, I managed to get hold of some 10mm M6 flat-headed bolts so that I don't have to cut down all them other ones. So what we'll do is we'll line them up and thread them in. And then, just for testing purposes, we are going to do them up nice and tight. Not too tight, but nice and tight. I think when it comes to actually building this thing, 'cause I'm going to build it all, take it apart, and then paint it, and then rebuild it. When it comes back to building it, I think I'm going to put some Loctite on these. Or I'm also going to put screws in these other holes, but I've got to find some like 12mm screws to do that with, because all the screws I've got are 16. So if you bolt it in just like that, do them up, and then you do exactly the same for the other runner that goes on to the other side. So I've got it mocked up in the unit. Now the unit's upside down at the minute, because usually I'd put the drawer in the unit with it being the right way up. I use number plates as spacers because it gives you just the right gap, about 3mm. But because this has got a filler piece and this is hollow, obviously can't do that. So I built it upside down. That gives me about a 3mm gap there and a 3mm gap there. And then what I'll do is, where that notch is, I'll come along and I'll mark it on here. And I'll do the same thing this side. Mark where that notch is. And then we can take the drawer out. So then I'll use my square. We'll come down to that mark. Do it up. Do the same thing, just check that that mark lines up there, which it does, you can see. Perfect. So now what I'm going to do is run the square all the way down whilst marking it with the pencil, and that will give us our centre line for the other half of our runner. So what we'll do, let's run it down here. Just like that. Until you get to about there. And then same thing this side. It's up in artistic. Mark it that way. And then we can use them to line up the second half of the hinge. So then what we'll do here, we'll line that up there, the centre line, with the line on the back, just until it's perfect, and then check all the way down here as well, till that's lined up, and the roller is butted against the back of the unit. And then we just keep going back and forth, lining it up until that line is smack bang in the middle at both ends, like that. And then we'll do the same thing, centre punch, drill, and insert the wood cert. So once I've done that, I will come back. The only difference between these nut certs and the other ones is the other ones we put them in from this side. Instead, what I'm going to do is flip this over and put them in from the outside, so I can do these up quite tight, and the chance of them pulling out is going to be extremely slim, and it acts like a big washer. That's what I did on the other ones and it worked fine, so I'm going to put them in from the other side. So once you've screwed your other runners on, just insert your drawer. There you go. One smooth drawer on runners. So that's the bottom drawer mechanism done. We just need to work out the hardware on this one. It's got to go down here somewhere, but I also need the switch panel down there, so that's that done. Now we've got to do the same exact thing to the drawer that sits above. So here we've got a rough last kind of pre-build of the drawers. I'm going to install the last of the runners on this top drawer, which you've already seen how I do it, so I'm just going to do it off camera. And I need to trim this top piece flush as I cut it wrong. But I'm going to end this video here, and in the next video we'll take all of this apart and get it painted, fit the hardware. I think I'm just going to paint the whole thing black. We'll fit the hardware, and then we need to make the switch panel for down here, but I'm going to have to take that out of the car, so I'll probably take the old drawers out of the car, mock this up in the car, I might put it in, see how it's fitting, and then paint it all, get the hardware fitted to it, and then start to work on the electrics in episode 4. So next episode will be hardware, getting it painted, taking it apart, putting it back together, putting all the handles and the locks and latches on, and then in the last episode, episode 4, we'll probably fit it, get it locked down, get everything fitted in it, and get the electrics done. So thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you're enjoying watching me build draw system for the back of the Land Rover Discovery 3, and I'll see you in the next video.